Hello guys, welcome back to another video. I hope that you guys are all doing well. To those of you who are new to the channel, welcome. I am Millie, online coach, a bodybuilder, a barrel of laughs and a whole lot of fun most of the time. Hope that you guys are doing well. I am doing good. Thanks for asking. I mean, it's been an eventful week, which I'm about to get into and update you guys, talking through what has been going on in this last week of my fat loss phase. We're on week 17. we're pushing toward the week 20 mark. Firstly, I'm gonna come at you with an important message, important alert. Please stay tuned for the next minute. So, to those of you who might have already done it in January this year, I did a mindset masterclass, which absolutely transformed the lives of a lot of people who did it. Okay, that's the door, give me one sec. It's fucking Nathan's Deliveroo order. How rude is that when I'm on a diet? He's ordered Deliveroo.
Thank you.
What did you order for me? Fucking air, okay. Right, thanks for interrupting me. Right, as I was saying, in January, I did a mindset masterclass and it did really transform the lives of a lot of people who attended. I have just a few examples for you. So a lady called Ivana came to the mindset masterclass. She did what it consisted of, which was literally just a few simple tasks, one task each day. I hopped in a live video, hopped in the group, did a live video and just educated and mentored everyone privately with the specific worksheets and tasks that I'd given them. And it basically allowed them to figure out what their goals are, break down their limiting beliefs, and then get clear on exactly what they need to do to achieve their goals. And 11 months later, now that we're in November, Ivana has lost 35 kilos, absolutely transformed her life. One of my clients, Lucy, actually did the masterclass and she decided that she was finally going to step outside of her comfort zone and do a photo shoot to prove to herself that she's not the old Lucy. And oh my God, she did the Team CBM group shoot in April and she absolutely freaking crushed it and skyrocketed her confidence. So they're just a couple of examples of people who have literally transformed their lives. We had people quitting their jobs to start their PT courses, people elevating their coaching businesses. We had so many people who had just got through these mental barriers and absolutely transformed the rest of their life. So I am doing a new and improved mindset masterclass. It begins on Monday, the 21st of November. That means if you have not already joined, you need to go straight over to my Instagram and DM me right now with challenge accepted. DM me with challenge accepted. You must do this before it starts on Monday, the 21st of November. If you do not, you will miss the boat. And just to mention, this masterclass is different to the one that I did before because it's new and improved. There's a workbook that you get. And also, you have a chance, if you make it to the end, to win a prize worth £149. And that's not just like one person wins that prize, everyone gets that. You will get a private coaching call with me. You will get a self-development book, which is specific to the goals that you're trying to achieve. And then also you will get one of my favorite kind of like life organizers planners for 2023. If you complete the masterclass, that's all I'm saying. Pre-masterclass, you have a chance to win stuff worth £149 and transform your freaking life. And there's no catch. I just absolutely loved the last masterclass that I did and it's my favorite thing to do. Plus it's Black Friday and I thought I would do something around that time to give you guys some more value because I'm just going to be able to give you free stuff. So now that plug is over, let's go into the update. Let's do a bit of a sit down. I need to sit down. It's been an intense week. Okay, so the update. Last week was freaking tough, and it was tough because I was sick, which is not something that happens often. I'm very hot on my supplements and good nutrition and sleeping enough and hydrating and all that good stuff, but it gets us all sometimes. And I think it's got a lot of people recently, like our clients at Team CBM, they've been reporting so much, like in the UK, in Dubai, in the US, in Canada, Europe, like literally we've had clients everywhere that have been like, I don't feel so good. So it's that season, it's that time of the year where I think people just end up coming down with stuff a little bit more. I had like a really bad sore throat for a few days. Fortunately, it was like over the weekend, typically where I don't have like client check-ins. And then it kind of like translated into a bit of a cough and a sniffle, but it wasn't so bad that I felt like I was full of cold and really, really like not in a good enough position to just be able to go on with my day to day. I felt more so like it was a nuisance, that I just kind of had a niggling kind of like slight pain rather than like I was really bunged up. Like I could still go and do like cardio and not feel snotty or anything like that. It was just weird. Like it just kind of felt like my throat was a little bit swollen. But that passed. I still continued after speaking to my coach. With this fat loss phase, we're on a certain timeline. And so I kind of spoke to my coach and I said, I don't feel like horrendous. I don't feel like it's really bad. It just feels like a little bit run down. And this weekend I'm taking or starting my deload week. So that's kind of why we pressed on specifically to take this deload week this weekend so that I can get a little bit of time off for going to Abu Dhabi. So photos this week, however, check-in photos and progress I am buzzing with, really, really happy because I've hit my goal. This week, I'll pop the photos up here so that you guys can see. This week I weighed in at 130.8 pounds. My goal, my end goal, to be honest, where I was kind of aiming to be was around the 130 pound mark. So we're actually really ahead of schedule and it was a grind over the last couple of weeks and I think that's really paid off. So really happy with these photos. Yes, like it's not my leanest for sure, and I'm not aiming to be my leanest. I'm not on prep, but I'm really happy with these photos because they show the amount of tissue that I've put on in my improvement season, especially around my back and my lats, and my delts as well. So like I'm really, really pleased, but I am really flat. I'm feeling super, super flat. And this weekend when I go away, I have also agreed with my coach that we are going to implement a little bit of more food flexibility. I'm not going to eat like a dickhead, but I am going to take a couple of days away from tracking and I will be having a meal out because it's mine and Nathan's anniversary. So yeah, we're gonna go for some sushi and we will enjoy it, as well as enjoy the celebrations this weekend. So it feels like my hard slog is nearly there. This weekend will be perfect to recharge for another few weeks of fat loss and then we're pretty much there. I've also popped a question box up on Instagram so that you guys could ask me a little bit of, I don't know, a little bit of questions, some questions for this video. So if you don't already follow me on Instagram, then go and do it because otherwise you'll miss these question boxes. Or if you have any questions that you want me to answer, then comment them below and I'll get them answered in the next vlog. So let's kick off with the first question. Will you be revealing why you've been dieting soon? So yes, I will be revealing it soon. Let's kind of say I will be revealing it. I'm going to aim for the first week of December. That'll reveal why I have been doing this fat loss phase, because there's a lot to go into explaining it to you guys. So I will be revealing it in a couple of weeks. Stick with me, okay? In your last video, you said that you were eating around 1,200 calories. Isn't this really low unless it's prep? So yes, it is low. And yes, this is around thereabouts the amount of calories that I did prep on last time, but we are striving for as much fat loss as possible for a specific reason. Now, with regard to, isn't 1,200 calories quite low? I think it's a very, very common misconception that 1,200 calories is, yes, 1,200 calories is low, but it depends on who you are, what you do, and what your goal is. Let's say if you're someone who is significantly older, who has gone through menopause, and you're a very small, short female, your BMR is going to be so low. Like you really, and if you're sedentary, then eating 1,200 calories might just be a slight deficit for you. But if you're someone who is super, super active, you're a hairdresser on your feet all day, every day, and you go to the gym 7 times a week, then 1,200 calories is going to be tiny for you, especially if you're someone who's really tall. So it really depends on your proportions. For myself, I've always had to dig for fat loss, always, but I haven't found it difficult to get strong and put muscle on. So it's just my genetics, it's my genetic composition, my makeup, my metabolism, and for me, 1,200 calories is effective when it comes to fat loss. It's not easy, but it is effective, especially when I'm aiming for the upper echelons of fat loss. So I hope that makes sense with regard to that. How do you feel this fat loss phase has gone so far? So I am very, very pleased with how this fat loss phase has gone. I feel like at the start it was quite slow. And the reason why it was quite slow, I think, is because we pushed my calories up so high, the highest I'd ever had them, to nearly 3,000. I think they were around 2,850. At the height of my improvement season, where I will also pop in some photos here so that you guys can see where I was at the height of my improvement season. That, I think when we brought them down gradually, probably just wasn't enough of a kick for my body to kind of realize that we were in a deficit. So I didn't really lose much like on the scales in the first like 6 to 8 weeks. I feel like from that lesson moving forward, and myself and my coach both getting to know my body a bit more after we've had my calories so high, is going to be like, we'll probably need to kind of like dive into lower calories a little bit sooner, because my body just doesn't necessarily on very, very high calories drop much body fat. So yeah, I think it was a bit slower at the start, but the past few weeks, I'm still really impressed the rate at which I'm progressing with fat loss on only 30 minutes of cardio per day and on the calories that I'm on, because let's just say like when I was prepping, I had to work even harder. So I also feel like that's because I put on a good amount of muscle tissue, and that's also contributed to me being able to get leaner a little bit more easier this time around. But then also I'm not at my leanest, so I'm not at that really digging stage. I'm happy, basically. I've pretty much already hit the kind of ballpark goal that I was aiming for, and this is going to prime me so well for the position that I'll be in when I start prep next year, because I definitely want to be in a really good position to start prep. I don't want to make it harder than it needs to be, as I believe it kind of was the first time that I competed, for sure. I wish I would have started prep at a bit of a leaner body composition. First meal that you're going to have after your fat loss phase is done. To be honest, I haven't thought about it. Well, actually, first meal that I'm going to have is very much so dependent on the reason why I'm dieting, so I'll tell you guys about that. Damn it, there's so many secrets. So I won't necessarily have much control over the first meal that I'll have, but for me, I love sushi. I love like really flavorful, fresh, whole foods. Like I love like a poke bowl. I love sushi. I like, I do like a pizza with loads of fresh ingredients on top of it. Something like that. I'm not one for super heavy, dirty, fried food, because for me, my digestion, anything that irritates it and upsets it is just like a no-go. And sometimes that can happen. I'm not craving food like at this point. And whenever I diet like quite, harshly, shall we say, or aggressively, I don't crave food, I crave energy, because my energy's low. If right now I could be filled up with energy, I wouldn't care for food. Like, yes, I love food, but I'm very good at detaching emotionally from food when I'm in a fat loss phase, but not, when I'm in a normal maintenance or lifestyle or muscle building phase. I love food, and I definitely have more of a like, oh, I fancy that. But right now I'm just a bit like, I just fancy feeling a little bit more energized. It's a hard one to explain, I think, unless you've been at that point. How do you manage not to binge when your calories are so low from a psychological point of view? So, really good question. For those of you who might not know, I did suffer with a binge eating disorder. I actually spent a good 1 year really, really badly binging. I think it was around 2018. And then I sought binge eating therapy and kind of like disordered eating therapy, which allowed me to get to a much better place. Now, what I have been very, very good at over the past few years since having that therapy, and now I teach it to others, I teach it to our clients. We very much so work super, super hard on improving the relationships our clients have with food, is I don't process my emotions through food, or there is no kind of like crossed wires between how I feel versus that translating to me needing food, whether it's for a positive reward or a negative reward, which is 9 times out of 10 most of the reason why people binge. Only sometimes will you be so physically hungry and feel that in your stomach to the point where your stomach is super, kind of like gargly and like, oh my God, I'm so hungry, I feel like a void. only at some points, you know, towards the back end of a prep would you get there, to the point where possibly you might have urges to, you know, overeat or eat loads. And that is really through a lot of practice and self-control of discipline. And I can hand on heart say that throughout my prep and throughout this diet, I have not binged, and I don't binge anymore. There are times when I come out of a diet and I do struggle to understand my capacity for where I am on the hunger scale. So when I come out of a fat loss phase, sometimes I think I have more space, but I don't, and then afterwards I feel a bit overfull. I think that is normal when it comes to coming out of fat loss. But I don't binge, mainly because I've done so much work emotionally on my relationship with food. I teach that now to others. I practice what I preach when it comes to mindful eating, and just with my calories being so low, I volumize the fuck out of my foods, and also my goal is bigger than the short-term satisfaction of food, and therefore I'll never choose, oh, I'm just going to eat loads of food now over wanting to progress towards the goal that I've got in mind. Plus, what I crave the most, as I was saying, is energy and feeling more energized. But you don't get that from one instance of eating food or from binging or overeating. You know, when you're in such a significant deficit, one episode of eating a lot of food is not going to take away the fact that you feel really low in energy. You technically just need to be in a prolonged period where you're at least at maintenance or a calorie surplus, or you need to just have more body fat on you to feel a little bit more energized. And you can't solve that through food. So I'm already aware that what I want and what I need isn't going to be solved by that burger or by whatever the hell is in my cupboards. I hope that makes sense. Are you natural? Yes. I'm natural. There's nothing more to add to it. If no, would you consider assistance? Yep, definitely I would consider assistance in the future, depending on where my goals with regard to competing would go. But I am not future Millie. My goals right now are to finish this fat loss phase, to do what I need to do that I'm going to tell you about, and then to go into a short kind of remainder of an improvement season and compete as a natural figure athlete around September, October time next year. Those are my goals. What comes after I've competed for the first time, you know, figure debut in some natty shows, I will compete in some federations that aren't tested, probably such as the PCA, because I love their shows and I really would love to compete in the PCA, but it's not, I don't necessarily like feel the need to have everything as a level playing field. I just think it would be really fun to do that. But for me, at the moment, it's being the best version of myself that I can be as a natural athlete. And I'm really enjoying still seeing what my body can do naturally. And in the future, maybe I'll be in a position where I think, right, I actually want to go down that assisted route for whatever my reasons may be at that point. And again, I have nothing against assistance as long as people are transparent about it, but they're not talking about it without appropriately educating people or making educated decisions themselves. I do think there is merit, especially if you're getting into bodybuilding, to see what you can achieve naturally and to see whether bodybuilding is for you before you actually go down the route of possibly causing irreversible damage to yourself, which can happen depending on, you know, what you do from that perspective. But yeah, it is something that I would consider. Am I considering it now? No, I'm not, because I'm totally natty. If you can't fucking tell by the way that my physique looks, which I think when you know enough about assistance, you will be able to tell who is assisted and who's not assisted. That's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap it up here, guys, because otherwise this video will go on for ages. I'm sure that you can see we have a tree. We did get the tree put up. Nathan and I did that the other week just because we thought it would be quite a wholesome thing to do on an evening that we had off. And I recorded some of it, and just as a little bit of a Christmas montage, in case anyone's not already feeling Christmassy, I am going to insert the nice, fun Christmas montage after this. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Enjoy the Christmassiness. Much love.